Cosplay Connection, and I am here at Anime Los Angeles talking to cosplayer Adam Wright. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Happy to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Now, can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and who you're cosplaying?
Yeah, I'm Adam. I'm a 36-year-old cosplayer. I am cosplaying Yami Sukihiro from Black Clover.
Awesome, super cool. And Black Clover is an anime that means a lot to you?
Yeah, it was probably one of the very first few that I watched, and just kind of stuck out to me. I really liked the characters in the world, and so anytime I really am drawn to an anime, I want to cosplay somebody from it, somebody that I feel connection to. So
yeah, absolutely, and that's the best way to go too. So can you tell our audience a little bit about your cosplay origin story? Like, what inspired you to start cosplaying?
yeah, I was a late bloomer. I didn't start watching anime until I was in my early 30s, so maybe 4 years ago. And I had met a couple of people who were just kind of in the cosplay community, and they were going to a convention, and I had never been. The first convention I went to was Anime NYC. It's a big, big one. And it's really interesting because my first one that I put together was Yami Sukihiro. So this is my very first cosplay I ever
cool.
did. It's different now.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of changed and adapted. And that's the cool thing about cosplay is you can kind of just upgrade things and change things. But my very first one, I kind of slapped it together. I didn't want to feel left out. I went with my friends and had a really cool time. And ever since then, I just kind of wanted to keep going.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely that like fear of missing out kind of a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I totally understand. My first convention, I felt out of place in like street clothes. I was like, wait a minute, like.
Yes, that's definitely happened to me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. So now, how do you go about choosing the characters that you cosplay?
A couple of things I look for. I usually have a beard in my costume, so if I can find a bearded character I like, we're good. That's top of my list.
Right.
There's not really a rhyme or reason. I like characters. I kind of do all sorts of characters. I tend to have fun at the cons. I like to. I don't want to say role play, but like I like to act them out. I like to be the character when I'm at conventions. So it's fun to be characters who are silly and goofy and who people are drawn to. I don't like doing characters who are very common.
Right.
So I pick my cosplays based on like, okay, do I see 100 of these at every convention, or have I ever seen one? If I've never seen one, I probably want to do that one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome because it is fun to like, especially as a cosplayer, to see the characters that you don't get to see very often.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like Megumi, I feel like in Jujutsu Kaisen sometimes like everyone loves him, but sometimes it's kind of hard to find like a Megumi and you get really excited, or like the lesser known anime.
Yeah.
You don't get to see the characters.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, that's really, really cool. So do you prefer to make your own cosplay pieces?
I do prefer that. I think you can strike a balance. I have cosplays that I have kind of. There's a really popular cosplay I do, Buggy the Clown from One Piece, that I did purchase, but I didn't just like wear it straight out of the box. I like to weather it. I like to change certain details. I like to add my own things. So that's kind of like the most. I usually don't just like buy it from Spirit Halloween and go to a convention. But others I've made completely from scratch, and so I think there's a time and place for both.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you do make your own pieces or kind of like fix up the ones you do purchase, do you have a certain type of creation you'd rather do? Like, would you rather sew or would you rather like build? Like, what kind of do you prefer?
I would rather build. I love making props and things like that, but that's just because I'm more familiar with that. I've recently started sewing, and I have a big sewing project that I just completed, and it was very tedious, and I'm not great at it, and so it's still, I think anytime you're not good at something, it's a little bit more annoying to do, so, but as you get better, it becomes more enjoyable, so I'm sure this answer may change in 6 months when I get better at sewing, although I think any sort of crafting you do is really rewarding at the end when it's turned out the way you want
Absolutely.
it to. So,
Yeah, very cool. We can't wait to see what that sewing project
I'm
looks like.
excited.
That's going to be really cool. So do you follow templates like when you do sewing and building?
if at all possible, I will find a pattern
Yeah.
somewhere. Sometimes you have to change it, you know. It's rare, especially in anime, especially if you're doing it like I do and pick a character that's not super common. You're not always going to find exactly what you want.
Right.
So I find something that's somewhat similar, and I will adapt things, change things to the best of my ability. Or I will. I really like to kind of do some research and scout things out and look at what other cosplayers have done, and then either build on that, or I'm not ashamed to copy things if I like that idea, or I'll kind of create something new. So
Yeah. Do you keep those templates on hand, like for next time?
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
That's something I learned. That's
Yes.
something I learned. Because listen, you can make. You'll find I probably have used a vest pattern for 4 different cosplays.
Right, yeah.
A jacket I just did this one. I've got 3 more planned probably. So yeah, always keep your templates and patterns for sure.
Absolutely. And I was just going to ask, like, have you learned any like tricks of the trade as you've like gone through your cosplay journey, like things that have really stuck with you that you could tell other cosplayers?
I would say this. A big tip that I've learned is make friends with people who do things better than you. Because I have learned a lot from friends that I've met at conventions, cosplayers that I've ran into and I go, wow, like, how did you make this? This is amazing. And then when you start to form relationships, you know, I have 2 different friends who are seamstresses, and they've taught me how to sew. And I have other cosplayers who build props, and I've kind of learned from them. And then obviously there's a ton of resources online.
Yeah.
So I would just say, look at other more experienced cosplayers, and then practice. You know, try new things. Don't be afraid to kind of branch out into something that I never thought I would be sewing. And then I got into 3D printing, which is a newer thing, and it's just so cool. So be willing to learn from other people. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
There's so many cool things to learn and do and try. So that's the best part of cosplay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's a really great advice, because sometimes as new cosplayers we can feel a little bit intimidated talking to the more experienced ones. You know, maybe they have hundreds of thousands of followers or tens of thousands, and you're like, whoa, like they're not going to want to talk to me. But a lot of time we're like, yeah, come talk to us.
Yeah.
Like, we would love to pass down what we've learned.
Yes.
You know, those of people like myself who have been cosplaying for 10 years. I would love to be able to talk to someone who's just starting, you know, or like in your case, like you're, you know, have all these cool things that you're learning. Of course you want to pass on that experience and that knowledge, you know, so like.
That's what I really like about cosplay is like, we are so excited about the cosplays we've done. So when somebody asks us about it, let me tell you what I did.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to gatekeep anything. Like,
Right.
I want to share it because I'm excited about it, and I put a lot of work into it, so I'm happy to tell you how to do it.
Right.
So anyway, I think when somebody comes up to me and ask for my knowledge or my, you know, how did I do this, I'm happy to share it, and bigger cosplayers do that with me too. So
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Adam, for taking the time to talk with us about your cosplay journey. Can you let us know where we can find you on social media?
yeah, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Ultimate Hero H3RO.
Awesome. Very cool. And for more cosplay information, cosplay guides, tips, and tricks, be sure to follow Temple of Geek Cosplay. See you guys later.